Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin and see what's going on. We got this nice bullish rectangle breakout here over the weekend, of course. Oddly enough, we saw this kind of happen on the late Saturday night / early Sunday morning where we broke through that local channel of roughly 102.5 as low as about 99.5. Okay, so we had this nice little rectangle pattern play out and it did work out pretty well. Congrats again to our community members for some nice profits on our long. Roughly 41% in the last 4 days worth for that Bitcoin long. So we took a long at 99,600, caught that nice little candle wick down and essentially wrote it out. So good stuff there. Now what I'm talking about here, or what I want to talk about rather, is the back-end liquidation data. And also recognize a few important factors when it comes to the overall sentiment with the macro too. We're going to look at that too. So if you're new to the channel, thanks again for being an awesome part of my life. And more importantly, those who have been watching for a long time, always hitting that like button, commenting below. Thank you again so much. It means a lot to me that you do that. Thank you. So on a Monday here, what are we looking at here? First of all, we saw this pump happen or occur basically late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Price pulls back to this 103 range and then takes off again here to retest that local high. So a lot of people shorting right now are probably scared. I don't know why you'd short Bitcoin at this point, but again, folks have a tendency of just shorting because price is overextended and they find luck with that. Again, that's really what it is. You're going to get lucky sometimes, but for the most part, market makers know that you're going to be doing that and they're going to destroy you because of it. Having said that though, we have a lot of liquidation here between 108 and 106.7. Okay, so not proposing we're going to see that instantly, but if we do break through this local threshold of 106.7, there's a decent chance we're going to see that come up. We also got a ton of volume flowing into Bitcoin right now, and shorting this coin makes no sense at all. Okay. Again, generally speaking, you don't want to short into high volume, and I'll show you on the charts what that looks like. But here we can also see liquidation delta has increased. Okay, and what this basically just implies is that we have a lot more people buying than selling at this point, or taking longs versus shorts, and that you want to go with the grain. Right now, the grain is saying we are bullish on Bitcoin, and there is no reason to consider shorting this coin. Generally speaking, when this level stays high for too long, that's when you may want to have a consideration for a short. But we've known, generally speaking, I always try to teach this too, it's important not to try to just trade on overextension alone. Okay, a lot of folks will do that. They'll be like, oh, okay, we've been moving in this direction for 2 days now. I'm just going to go ahead and short because it has to come down. Truth is, it doesn't have to, and it usually doesn't. It usually won't. So just some friendly advice. Be careful just shorting into something that you feel has been like overextended. It's not really a profitable scenario. Either way, we look back here last week, people are still heavy at 97,000. That's roughly where we got in. Well, no, we're in at 99.6, but generally speaking, that was a good area to consider adding to your position. 99.7, or sorry, roughly 100,000 down to as low as 97,000. That was that nice little support range that I discussed previously that held fairly well. A lot of folks felt confident taking longs at 97K, and with good reason. I think that's awesome if you did. Congrats on that. We can see here locally, if we zoom in, there is some folks getting pretty heavy at 105 and 101. I'm rounding down and up a lot, but just say 100,000 and 105,000 are the two rough estimates of areas that people are pretty heavy right now. Okay, so it just kind of gives you perspective on support ranges, etc. Look at this here right now. Look at 106.7. We just swept 106.8. Actually, if we see the candle wick there. So again, Bitcoin's making some moves here, folks. Take a look here at the weekly time frame. This is also going to be extremely bullish. Again, quick disclaimer, there's nothing here telling us we're due to slow down at any point. While we have seen stochastic RSI kind of give us a little bit of an indication on the price actions due to correct itself, it's never a massive correction. And what I mean by that here is last stochastic swing, we saw the price action, yes, it was ranging pretty well between 50 and 70K. That was not a massive correction. Now, I guess from top to bottom, if you count it out, 32% is pretty solid. That's pretty big. And if we go hypothetically 32% from here, that would put us back down as low as 73K. So there's still a possibility we could retrace down to the 70, 80, 90K range, right? I'm not saying that we can't, but at this exact moment right now, with all the volume flowing in, it seems a lot less probable. Okay, so again, as volume starts to dry up, we'll start to see the price action pull back. In between now and then, pay attention to the volume. So anyways, this is just kind of an example, folks. This is not a guarantee or an exact science. Because again, look at the last time here, we saw stochastic RSI swinging back down. The price went sideways and up from there. Okay, So do not take the stochastic here as a true testament of what's going to happen with the price action. It's not a guarantee. You could even say the same thing with MACD as well. We've gotten we had a significant divergence right there too, and the price went significantly higher. So either way, I'm just kind of throwing it out there, giving you food for thought there that the weekly time frame is massively bullish, and there's no reason to try to short into that. If you're like the person that wants to short to zero, you got a lot to learn. Okay, so daily time frame. Let's quickly recognize some things here with the SMAs. By the way, too, the weekly we're above all SMAs. There's no divergences at all on the weekly. Okay, daily time frame, same thing as well. We're above all moving averages here, as I've discussed previously. Still a very bullish sign. We're over 50 on the RSI, soon to test 70 here on the RSI. If we can break through that, we're probably going to be we're already in kind of price discovery mode right now, but we may be further into that, and we may not be able to look back to this low $100,000 range. What I mean by that is the last time we broke through 70 on the RSI, we could see the price action was right here at about 76,000, and until it came back down under 70 on the RSI, it was right here at 94,000. Okay. So we went from 76 to 94K roughly I think that was maybe like a 2-week period. Yeah, roughly 2 weeks in November. And during that time frame, when that occurred, it took a while for the RSI to come back down, right? So we haven't broken through that, but generally speaking, when you break through 70 on the RSI on the daily, it's a pretty significant push or continuation, and you want to respect the fact that the price may not come back down for a while. So it's the simple way to understand it is don't short this coin. Again, I don't care if the price drops down to 100,000 or 90,000 tomorrow. I'm okay with being wrong because it's best practice and it's right to ensure that you don't take a trade into this kind of trend, right? We got a MACD convergence here on the daily too. There's a lot of reasons why the momentum here is pretty strong, and you want to go with the grain, not against it. Am I telling you to take a long at 106,700? Probably not. That just feels weird to me to take a long at that point. I'd much rather the price pull back a little bit further before I take a long. However, again, there's a lot of different schools of thought here. The key takeaway is that you want to be responsible when you trade, and it would be irresponsible to take a short right now. That's really the bottom line. I'll update our fib levels here once we're done with the conversation, or more importantly, just post that on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord, so it's all there for you if you are curious kind of what's going to happen next. If we do take a look at our Bitcoin anticipation, we were expecting the Bitcoin to break out with this bullish rectangle. Okay, so again, it's pretty consistent. These patterns are consistent because there's a lot of bullish convergences with it. Okay, so please don't be a type of trader that sees like a bull pennant and you go with a long because of it. That bull pennant exists because there's other qualities that need to be present in order for it to be a successful trade. Okay. Having said that, though, the 4-hour time frame, we're over all SMAs. We can see we're over 70 on the RSI now here, and that's a very, very good sign. Does this mean the price is going to continue to go straight up from here? No and yes. Yes, in the sense that we got to expect the price to continue higher. So with, just say you took the long position that we took with our community, you want to hold it open. It still hasn't reached its bottom yet. But once again, hindsight's 2020. We could say that as well with the price pulling back to 103. But at this point here, money flow index is high. RSI is over 70. You don't want to short into that. Generally speaking, it's best practice to consider securing profits when the RSI comes back down under 70, which had already happened here over the weekend, at least late last night. So I wouldn't fault you of having taken profit overnight here, because that's the sensible thing to do. But if you still have a position open right now, it seems like it's more likely to continue higher than lower. Just based on everything we've seen here so far in the Ichimoku cloud, we confirm here that there is no consideration to short this coin. Look at this volume, folks. These are some pretty significant volume candles, both going in the upward direction. As you can see, we saw some significant volume here, and that was actually on a weekend. And then even though the volume kind of tapered off, we have since increased volume again, and that kind of gives you an indication that we're back on track, and the price is going to continue higher. I mean, right now, as of this recording, we've seen 106.875. So we can see a lot of this liquidation here is definitely getting swept here. So once more, I'll post a playout chart here shortly and kind of get you some indication of what's going on, where I think we're going to go next. But at this point here, folks, this is price discovery. You don't really short into price discovery. It doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, you're basically just kind of gambling. You're hoping to find the top, and there's no established top yet. So until that happens, I think that it's best to wait and consider maybe a long that would be based on a pullback here versus a short. Okay. All right. Thanks again so much, folks, for watching. I hope you learned something today. Comment below if you get a chance, and like, subscribe, follow. Join us over at Bitunix too. $12,000 deposit bonus. Awesome exchange. Deeply appreciate you, folks. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.